What's going on, everybody? Travis Eldridge here with Lacrosse Now Update. The NCAA Division I Council voted on Monday to allow all spring sport athletes the option of an extra year of eligibility. This means for seniors, they'll be allowed to return for a fifth year, and their scholarships, while not guaranteed, will not count against the scholarship limit for a team. We now bring in a former coach, now analyst, Jamie Munro, to talk more about this. Jamie, let's just first talk about you as a parent, because you got a couple of kids in college, another one getting ready to play college lacrosse. As a parent, for a student athlete who's a senior, this is awesome, but it creates some more ripple effects for the younger student athletes, right?
Definitely. I mean, my son is a junior at Georgetown. He was thrilled yesterday, and we were happy for him that he's going to get that year back. And my daughter, I have a daughter who's a junior at ASU. She redshirted, so she was wondering why she did that. And then I have a younger in high school, 2021, who's committed to playing in Division I, and she was a little bummed because now there's going to be an extra class ahead of her, you know, for 3 of her 4 years.
For the coaches, and you being a former coach, you obviously know what this probably is going to be like for them. They have to figure out, all right, well, the scholarships aren't going to count against the limit. However, some schools like Ohio State have come out and said they're going to guarantee these scholarships. Others have not. So it may not even be a coach decision. It may be an administrator decision on whether some of these seniors get the same financial aid package as they got here in their senior season. How difficult is that going to be for coaches?
Well, it's going to be difficult, but it's not unlike the way it's always been. Not every Division I school, even if they have scholarships, doesn't mean that they are fully funded. I mean, there are some really notable schools that only in the last 10 years became a fully funded, meaning 12.6 scholarships. And the same is true for coach salaries, and the same is true for facilities, travel. Every school, every institution is going to deal with this how they want, and some are going to put more resources into lacrosse than others. And others may say, hey, you can fundraise that money. Others might say, sorry, you can't fundraise that money. So it's always across the board. It's never an even playing field, actually.
From your feel of it, what is the because you mentioned travel and having an extra 5 to 10 players come back and add to a roster size creates issues. Like what percentage of the schools are going to be able to say, hey, all these seniors can come back if they want, and we can take care of them, and what percentage may decide not to?
It's a great question. You've got gender equity elements in the mix too, because you know there are. You know, when I was at Denver, we had a cap of 36, and then at one point it went up to 39. The NCAA average is like 40 or 44. Some of these schools have 55. There's you know, it's very unlikely that you're going to have 100% of your seniors come back. I think a lot of people feel like, well, it's really expensive. There's not going to be that many. It's not going to be that big of an impact. I think it's not going to be that many, but I think it is going to be a big impact because the kids that are coming back are going to be real contributors, and it's going to add 3 or 4 or 5 people that you wouldn't have had otherwise slated in the program. So that ripple effect is going to occur where somehow they're going to have to, double up lockers in locker rooms, and then they're going to have to start recruiting a little bit differently, and that's where the trickle down is going to occur because they're going to be planning for the possibility of fifth-year seniors coming in every year for the next 4 years.
And you mentioned the trickle down to these high school seniors, and this isn't going to be a class that really gets affected by this because some of them may completely lose their high school senior seasons, as we're seeing, especially different places that have been really affected by the coronavirus so far. And then they don't know what kind of opportunity they have as freshmen in college because you may have a bunch of fifth-year seniors coming back. How tough is it going to be for that class?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, at least they signed their NLI, so they're guaranteed a spot and they're guaranteed their money. They're also guaranteed to have be in a freshman class of like 20 or 30 because there's going to be 2 freshman classes. So. Yeah, it's going to be challenging for them. I would say for the 21s, maybe a little more challenging because they haven't signed anything. And there's going to be situations I've heard, on my podcast, a couple of weeks ago, Lars Tiffany told me that he's already had a couple 20s say, hey, I might think about doing a PG year. So now all of a sudden, they take an extra year of high school. Now they're in the class of 21. And, so you can see how these ripple effects may come. And then at the other direction, the ripple effect is it's going to be just an incredibly competitive environment out there where there's going to be, more schools than ever that are going to be able to compete and maybe win a national championship.
So we have some clarity on this fifth-year option for players, but I think there's still a lot of gray areas that conferences and schools are not going to have to figure out. What's your number one question that you still have for how this process is going to play out?
Well, I would have to say the Ivy League is a big one because traditionally the Ivy League does not allow fifth-year seniors. They don't allow graduate students to compete. And so, what's going to happen with Mikey Sauer? There are those that have said a lot of the, a number of the top players at one particular Ivy League school that is really high level, they all withdrew immediately upon the news of this potential fifth-year opportunity. Because in the Ivy League, the way that you can make it work is to withdraw right now. If you're a senior, withdraw right now, then don't go back to school in the fall and then come back in the spring and you're just replaying this spring semester. For all the younger athletes, they could either withdraw twice, meaning next fall and the next fall after that, or it's going to be like this year, the Mikey Sauer sweepstakes to see who can get the top players out of the Ivy League.
Well, Michael Sauer has come out and said he actually did withdraw, so he'll be back at Princeton. But that is an interesting question because I think a lot of student athletes have decided maybe I'm not even going to wait for the Ivy League process to play out because they don't know what's going to happen. And maybe for some of these schools in the second semester, it gets too late.
Yeah, it's going to be too late very soon. And the fact that this came out yesterday, I think gives people time to withdraw if they want to. But that deadline, might even be like the end of this week or next week. It's coming right up.
So finally, we know what this is going to mean for next year. It's going to be probably a bunch of fifth-year seniors coming back that are probably going to really impact the college game. For me, when you project 2, 3, 4 years out is where it starts to get really interesting. How many sophomores or freshmen now do you really see taking advantage of that fifth year because they lost their freshman or sophomore season? Or is this going to kind of, and I guess this is probably the feel of the NCAA, that the further away you get from this lost year, they're hoping the less players take advantage of it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, my take on it is that the contributors and best players are going to come back. That's what I would think. They're going to try to get a grad degree if they can. And with more time to plan for it, it's not going to be as big of a shock this year there's seniors that have jobs and they have to figure out if they can defer that job. Now, granted, the other thing is that the economy is very different now than it was a month ago. And so therefore, maybe some of the jobs that people might have had aren't even going to be there. So I think that it's likely that we're going to see a similar amount of interested players in getting this year back, because if you're passionate about the game and you want to keep playing and you can, go get a grad school degree someplace. I think the really interesting thing is there going to be money for those kids in addition to the 12.6.
A lot of interesting questions. We'll continue to cover it here on LacSportsNetwork.com and the FTX Next app. Jamie, appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thanks, Travis.